Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland on the D-Day beaches of Normandy, right outside my window here. Before we get started, again, some of you are responding to my request to please show your appreciation by making a donation. I've gotten several $3 donations. I've got a couple of $1 donations. I've got $5 donations. It doesn't matter what you send in. Send in something for all of my, over time, thousands of hours of research, writing, podcasting, and producing videos, audios, and written articles for you all to know what the heck is going on in the headlines in support of the global 99% and to tell the real story of the Chinese people. So for those of you that have, I really appreciate it. For those of you that haven't, please do so, and I would really appreciate it. All right, this one is very interesting. If you are not reading this and are watching or listening, do go to the original article. There are 13 hyperlinks and a chart to look at. So it would really be helpful if you could do that. And of course, those will be in the YouTube and SoundCloud description. And of course, if you're on the China Rising Radio Sinoland website, it's a moot point. Here we go. Americans' centuries of deep-seated racism against the Chinese will allow Trump and company to beat Biden to death with it in November. Pictured above, Trump and company's pathological attacks on anything and everything Chinese are working like a charm. Biden doesn't stand a chance. A vote for Trump is a vote against that timeless racist chestnut. Fear the yellow peril! Here we go. There are two aspects of this story. The first one I reported last week, and that was number one, why Urangula Land has decided to do everything possible to destroy the Chinese people's way of life before it is too late, even if it means sacking the rest of the world. In one sentence, what that article is about is Western global capitalism has never been able to compete fairly and honestly on a level playing field with communism, socialism, going back to 1917 to the 1917 Russian Revolution. Ergo, China is now the biggest, baddest, richest anti-imperial commie kahuna on our pale blue dot, so it must be destroyed now. But the West's deep state oligarchs get a double benefit from all this hysterical, pathological anti-Chinese racism. They get to keep Trump selected and appointed to occupy the White House for another 4 years. By the looks of the latest Pew survey, I'd say their game plan is working to perfection. The Pew headline blares, Americans fault China for its role in the spread of COVID-19. Subtitle, unfavorable views of China reach new historical high, and a majority supports taking a tougher stand on human rights. Yeah, that'll show them. Notice the jaw-dropping divergence of the two plot lines began in 2017, right when Trump was put in the White House. This is no accident. First, we had the Muslim gulag and organ harvesting tsunami, which are classic CIA MI6 PSYOPs propaganda chestnuts going back decades. Reference number 2, time to get real about China's 25 million Muslims. Number 3, successfully smearing China with big lie propaganda about, quote, Muslim gulags, end of quote. MSM digs up a stale PSYOPs, quote, organ harvesting, end of quote. Then they had to KILL, kill Huawei, ZTE, and all the other tens of Chinese tech companies which were attacked. Number 4, U.S. trying to sabotage Huawei, ZT, and Sino 5G. Too late, Game over. Number 5, 60 seconds over Sinoland. Huawei Redux. Oh my God. Actually, it was abbreviated OMG, but oh my God, Uncle Sam and company are way more screwed than I thought. Number 6, Huawei offers to tie both arms behind the back so the West can compete. Number 7, bans, sanctions, fines, and extortion cannot beat bigger, better, faster, and cheaper. The Huawei story is a fable of unintended consequences. China Tech News Flash. And then number 8, Zheng Fei, founder of Huawei, says, quote, "My mentor is Chairman Mao Zedong," end of quote. I'm not surprised. Are you? Then Trump and company closed down the Chinese consulate in Houston, Texas. Number 9, it's getting uglier by the day. A timeline of Uranglo-Land's recent casus belli against China. Or is it belli? Belli against China. B-E-L-L-I. Western capitalism is declaring war on communist socialist China because it cannot compete fairly on the world stage. Now using Trump as a battering ram, Western global capitalism is going to shut out China's social media around the world, including the world-dominating phone apps TikTok and WeChat. Joining imperial whore India, the big lie propaganda machine, the BLPM, likes to spew its vomit in waves, as it brainwashes the masses better that way. So we have the USA, the Uncle Sam of Australia, and Bitch Beagle Britain already in the colonial pipeline. Like Huawei, others will undoubtedly be bribed, blackmailed, extorted, false flagged, and assassinated into submission. By the time November rolls around, the Pew chart shown above could well be 90% against and 10% for the Chinese, not the already historically high 73%, 22%. Trump will stay in the White House for the next 4 years because the West's 1% oligarchs want it that way. You think the U.S. has real honest elections? Brain-dead Biden does not have the narcissistic bombast and demagoguery that Trump possesses in spades, which keeps the masses' eyes off the fact that they are getting royally raped by their owners. Either way, all the communist, socialist, anti-imperialist peoples of planet Earth will continue to get win-win, stronger and more unified, while the rest of humanity will be COVID-driven into fascist poverty and a dystopian police state, I'm sad to say. Number 10, my next to the last COVID swan song article, looking back what I think happened and what is going on today. Number 11, Peter Koenig tells the truth about COVID only to be vilified by the left, right, center, friends, and foes alike. It's called Speaking Truth to Power. Here is our discussion. Of course, the other option always on the table in the West is perpetual war. With survey numbers like the ones above, it would not be hard to get armies of lower and working class citizens to sign up by the hundreds of thousands for a chance to kill some yellow nigger, gooks, geeks, zipperheads, and chinks. If you don't believe me, just read this expose I wrote on Americans' racist bloodlust going back centuries. Number 12, entitled, Slavs in the Yellow Peril are, quote, niggers, brutes, and beasts, end of quote, in the eyes of Western Empire. Westerners' deep-seated racism is always there, just bubbling below the surface to be activated in the cause of global capitalism. Using the false flags USS Maine in 1898, the Lusitania in 1915, the planned Pearl Harbor attack in 1944, Gulf of Tonkin in 1964, as well as the Yellow Domino of Korea in 1953, Western oligarchs had their brainwashed 99% baying for brown, Hun/Kraut and yellow scalps, crazed to die for imperial colonialism. And they did, by the millions, exterminating many more millions in the process, while making their 1% owners richer and richer. Number 13, Terje Malloy on World War I propaganda. Nothing has changed in 100 years. And then here are three very typical Western racist propaganda posters, the likes of which we will probably be seeing again. If you're watching or listening, one is from the 19th century against the Chinese. Number two is from World War I against the Germans. And number three is from the Korean War against the Chinese and the Koreans. In closing, friends, fans, and followers of China Rising Radio Sinoland, turn off the boob tube and take advantage of my thousands of hours of truth-telling research, writing, and podcasting to really understand MSM's, and that's mainstream media's, current event headlines, because they lie through their metaphorical, ink-stained teeth. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland. Thank you, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.